Alright guys, Mr. Blevins here. I'm going to show you how to make a relatively basic model today called the bird base. It's so named because many models come from it, but the most standard one, the traditional one that you make with this base is the crane, the very iconic, ubiquitous origami crane. You see it everywhere. Anytime somebody's saying, hey, here's some origami, usually it's a crane. But it's a really nice one to do. It's a really nice one to have in your repertoire if you're going to be an origamist. I think that's the term. But anyway, sorry for the cat there. She wants to be involved. But today I'm going to start with a piece of origami paper. There's no reason that you would need to. It just makes it a little easier to demonstrate because it has a very obvious design side and a blank side. In this case, my blank side is kind of a cream color. Usually the blank side is kind of a white, but you usually have some kind of vivid color on one side and some kind of non-vivid color on the other side. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your color side up and you want to fold a diagonal. Now, there's no reason that you should need actual origami paper. If you just want to make a square of paper, you can refer to the other video I've got on here that shows you how to do that. You can do that with any piece of notebook paper. I kind of like the look of the yellowish paper. It kind of gives it that old school legal tablet feel. But, you know, no reason why you should need to. So you folded a diagonal, and it gives you this nice little triangle. What you want to do is then open that and fold the diagonal in the other direction. Alright, so when you open that, you should have this nice little valley shape. You should have an X and little valley shapes across your the center of your paper. If you would flip that over, what we're going to do now is fold some lines across the horizontal and across the vertical. So the first one, the horizontal, we just fold it in half lengthwise, just like so. And we've got a crease line that goes right across the center of our X that we had previously. Now we just want to do the same thing along the vertical. And when we open that, it gives us a nice cross that intersects right at the center of our X. So now if you look at it, you've got raised lines along the diagonals, you've got indented lines or valley lines along the horizontal and the vertical. So what you want to do with those? I would fold it back horizontally, and if you notice, when you're looking down on this model, you've got nice little crease lines that make a little triangle up here in this corner. So you've got a line here, and it makes a nice little triangle up here. What I would do is I would put my finger there to kind of hold that down, and I would come over here with the other hand, and notice how you've got two layers here. Put your hand in between there, and just kind of push up on the top layer along that line you already folded, along this diagonal, so that it makes a nice little three-dimensional corner. You should have a little corner there. Now, to flatten that back out, if you come over here to the side that just comes right up off of there, and push this down along the lines you've already folded. You already folded this line before. You made a crease there. If you just push this down, it should want to try and fold back along the other crease you've made, so that it kind of does that. Alright? So what you did was you started here and you pulled up and then you just flattened along all the lines you already had folded. So you shouldn't have to fold any new lines. You should just have to reuse the creases you already made. And what this ends up doing is it ends up giving you a square that is exactly 1/4 the size of the square you started with. From the bottom side, you can see all the way down in the model. It opens up there, you can see all the way down in it. And from the top side, you've got all these little closed lines that come to a peak in the center. I'm going to refer to this closed side as the top and this open side as the bottom. Alright? So, put the bottom toward you. The open side is going to point toward me, toward you in your case. And the closed side is going to point away from you. So, what we're going to do, with the open side pointing toward you, you're going to take just this top corner over here, and you're going to fold so that this whole open line here goes to this center line, this center crease that you've got on the model. So, it's going to end up looking like this. You've folded it in, and now it's meeting at the center line here. So it's the edge that was over here, that was along the outside, is now along the center. You're going to take the other side and do the exact same thing so that it meets the one you just folded down. Kind of like you're making just an old school paper airplane there. You're folding the sides in along that center line. So now these two lines should meet up along the center crease you've got here. If you flip the model over and do the same thing, fold both of these sides in to that center line. Same thing here, fold it into the center. What you've basically done is made this nice little kite shape. So, you've got both of these folded into the center over here, and on the other side you've got both of these folded into the center. Now, what you're going to do, you've got this nice kind of flat square up here at the top, or sorry, flat triangle up here at the top. You want to take this very top point and you want to fold down along the tops of the two flaps you just folded in. So it ends up looking like that. So you've just folded it down. So you've got this nice isosceles triangle shape. You've got two lines of the same length here. You've got the shorter side at the base. Alright. Unfold that last one, flip the model over, and just fold the same thing in the other direction. So, again, you've got that same isosceles triangle. Now, unfold all the flaps you just made, so that top one and the two side ones, so that you get back to your nice little square shape on both sides. And now you should have crease lines in the shape of that nice little isosceles triangle we just made. So what you're going to do, down here at the open side, at the bottom, I want you to just grab that top flap, the very top flap here, and I want you to pull that up until it meets, or until it opens up to that line you just folded across the top. So you're going to do it like that. You're going to fold it up so that you're folding right along that crease line up here that you just made. Now, as you're doing that, the sides over here and over here are going to want to pull in. Pull them in so that they fold down along the creases you just made on the sides. So they're going to fold in as you're pulling the top, as you're pulling that bottom flap upward toward the top. The sides are going to pull in along the creases you just made, and everything should kind of flatten back out once you get that pulled up, so that it makes this nice elongated diamond shape. You've got this nice little elongated diamond shape here. If you flip the model over, you should be able to do the exact same thing on this side. So take the top flap down here at the open end, fold it up right along that crease line you just made, and push the sides in along the crease lines that you already made. And now you should have that nice elongated diamond shape on both sides of your model. Now, up here at the top, you've got this little flap in between the two longer flaps, and on the other side of the model, you've got these two little peaks. Alright? They're not connected to each other. Up at the end, they should just be little free individual peaks. What we're going to do lastly to make it into the iconic bird base is just to take those flaps that you just folded upward and fold them back down. Just fold them right along that crease line you already have. Don't open them back up, just fold them straight down, and do the same thing on the other side, so that you've got this nice little kite shape. And those little flaps will want to kind of stick up. You'll see how they're kind of coming up right there. But you should have 4 little points, 2 wider, 2 narrower, all pointing in the same direction, and this smaller closed peak up the top. And that is the bird base.